On our 5th wedding anniversary, I ordered a cake from a trendy bakery to celebrate with my husband. But as I arrived, I saw a crowd queuing outside, and among them stood a man and a woman, locked in a passionate embrace. Unfortunately, the man was none other than my husband, Jason. I pulled out my phone and called him. He hesitated, then reluctantly pulled away from her lips to answer. His tone was cold, irritated. "What is it? I'm busy." I kept my voice calm. "Just one small thing. Could you ask your little lover what shade of lipstick she's wearing?" Face drained of color. He turned, scanning the crowd, and finally spotted me through the glass door of the bakery. Our eyes met, and in that moment, everything between us came rushing back. School uniforms, wedding gowns, from having nothing to building everything together. And now, after 5 years of marriage, it had all crumbled defeated by the pull of bold red lips. I picked up the cake and walked outside. Jason quickly stepped in front of the woman, shielding her. "Selena, whatever you want to say, let's talk at home. Don't make a scene here." The woman peeked out from behind him. She was young, stunning, and carried the arrogance of someone who knew she was being fought over. "You must be Mrs. Jason, right? Today's your anniversary, isn't it? Jason even said he was buying a cake to celebrate with you. Maybe I'm just getting old, but mistresses these days seem far more direct and far more shameless." Imagine saying something like that to a wife in broad daylight. I looked at Jason, fighting the urge to slap him right there. With great restraint, I said, "Are you coming home with me now, or do you want to finish kissing your little lover?" First, his face darkened. "Selena, this is just a misunderstanding. Why are you being so aggressive? And I'll go home with you. Happy now." I didn't even know where this bakery was, so I brought Jessica along to help. What? I was trying to surprise you. I just messed it up. He reached out to take the cake from me. I let it go. With a loud splat, it crashed to the ground, scattered and broken. Just like our marriage, unsalvageable, disgraceful. Jessica gasped, covering her mouth. "Oh my. Mrs. Jason, you're being so unreasonable. Is this really worth getting upset over?" "Jason, if this is how it's going to be, I won't dare go out with you again. Who knows if your wife will slap me next time. She's completely out of control." Jason looked down at the mess, then glared at me. "What's wrong with you? Do you have to make a scene? Can't you control that spoiled temper, even in public?" Smack, I slapped him across the face. Then I turned to Jessica. "Don't worry. Little girl, my hand won't land on your face. I only slapped my husband. You're just a toy. Not worth the effort." Jessica stomped her foot in outrage. "What did you just say?" Jason was humiliated. He grabbed my wrist, his voice low and threatening. "Selena, don't push your luck. You hit me in public. Have you even thought about the consequences?" I yanked my hand away. "How about I find a man to kiss? If you can tolerate that, maybe I can too." Jason stared at me, stunned. "You're insane, completely unreasonable." I left him standing there and drove home. The house was romantically decorated. I had spent the entire day preparing roses and scented candles, his favorite wine already decanted, a gift waiting on the bedside table, all for the man I once loved. I threw the roses into the trash on our first anniversary. Jason had said, "Honey, from now on, every year on this day, we'll celebrate together. It's for the rest of our lives." I poured the wine down the sink. On our 2nd anniversary, he had said, "Selena, I just bought a company today. I'm so excited. Our anniversary must be lucky." I dumped the steak into the garbage. "On our 3rd anniversary, baby, when are we going to have a child? I'll spoil you both to the heavens." Packed the candles back into the storage closet. "On our 4th anniversary today, I want to show you the hotel I built. That's my gift to you." The memories stopped there. Year 5. It's ended like this. I stood in front of the mirror, staring at the woman reflected back Selena. Her eyes were filled with tears, with heartbreak, with despair. The sound of a WeChat notification interrupted me. I picked up my phone and saw a new friend request waiting for approval. I opened it, There it was. The profile picture belonged to Jessica, Jason's little lover from earlier today. For a moment, I hesitated. Then I clicked accept. What followed was a rapid flood of photos and videos, all of them. Intimate moments between her and Jason. She didn't even wait, just one after. Another, shameless and deliberate.
A message.
People who love each other should be together. Shouldn't the loser know when to step aside? He told me he feels a joy and energy with me that he hasn't felt in years. And you're like a boring dead fish. Nausea twisted in my stomach as I looked at those pictures, but I still hit save. Then I went to her social media profile. Her feed was full of everyday moments, eating, shopping, traveling, laughing. But what caught my attention was that in 9 out of 10 pictures, Jason was there. A reflection in the window, a hand reaching. For a drink, a blurred figure in the background. Sometimes it was just his shoulder or the back of his head. But I saw him after 5 years of marriage. I could recognize Jason from the tiniest detail, even with my eyes closed. Later that evening, Jason came home. He loosened his tie and sat casually on the couch. "Since you've already seen it," he said with unsettling calm, "why don't we talk?" I sat across from him, staring at this familiar stranger, the man I'd shared a bed with every night for years. Why did he now feel like someone I didn't even know? I searched his face. Then I asked softly, "When did it start?" Jason sighed. "Does it really matter when it started? What matters is, she's young, beautiful, full of energy. Selena, I'm 30 years old. I'm tired. When I come home and all you talk about are chores, I feel even more drained. I want peace. I want happiness. I want to feel alive again, not to be nagged every time I step in the door." He looked off into the distance, his voice tinged with something almost like longing. "But Jessica, she's different. She's like this wild, reckless child who stormed into my life and flipped everything upside down. And I like it. I haven't felt this kind of excitement in a long time." He smiled as he spoke. That smile pierced straight through me, because once he used to smile like that when he talked about me, when his eyes held only love for me. But now, that same expression is for another woman. "You don't get it," he continued. "She reminds me of you back when you first started college, full of life, lighting up every room you walked into. Everyone wanted to be around you." I frowned and clicked my tongue. "So what now? Bright and lively Selena became boring by 30, so you found yourself a shiny new version, a girl in her early 20s. And when she starts to dim, what? Then will you trade her in too? Is that what marriage means to you, Jason? The moment life gets dull, you cheat?" Tears welled up in my eyes. I wasn't sure if they were from heartbreak or fury. After we got married, we started a company. Together, we worked day and night to build something from nothing. I remember once drinking so much just to secure the company's biggest deal, I ended up with a stomach ulcer. Jason cried beside my hospital bed like a child, promising he'd make me the happiest woman alive. When I was discharged, he refused to let me work again. Said I needed rest. Said he'd take care of everything. No matter how busy he was, he'd rush home just to cook me dinner. Every morning he made millet porridge to help my stomach heal. Even my friends would say, "Selena, you're so lucky. What other man does this for his wife?" And I believed them. I believed I was lucky. I believed I had a good man. I thought once I'm fully recovered, I'll give Jason a child, then we'll have our perfect family. But now, Jason looked at me with an icy stare. "I didn't want you to find out," he said. "Didn't want you but now that you know, look at the drama you've created. Selena, be realistic. Look around. Men at my level with my kind of money. Who doesn't have some fun on the side? Divorces are happening left and right, but me, I never left you. I never threw you out. I didn't do anything to hurt. You've always had enough money. Unlimited cards. You don't even need to work. All I've asked is for you to stay beautiful." He paused and looked at me like I was the problem. "Do you know how many women envy your position? And yet, you're still not satisfied." My hands and feet turned cold. I never thought I'd hear such shameless words come from Jason's mouth. I stared at him, my voice trembling but firm. Jason, what did you promise my parents before? We got married. Before our wedding, I had brought him to my parents' grave. In front of them, he swore, Mom, Dad, I will take care of Selena, protect her for life, and love her forever. He had placed the engagement ring on my finger right there, under the sky, in front of the people I loved most, vowing eternal love. But now, 5 years later, those words still echoed in my ears, while the man who once said them had become a complete stranger. Jason slammed his cup down on the table with a thud. Here we go again, Selena. Can you stop being so childish? Do? You really think every promise in this world can be kept? Back then, I truly thought I'd love you forever. And I haven't treated you badly, have I? I've still been good to you, still protecting you, still loving you. He looked at me, as if I were unreasonable. Look, if you hadn't seen what you saw today, you'd still be happy. Why can't you just let it go? Can't you pretend it never happened? He stood up, walked over, and sat beside me, wrapping his arm around my shoulder. Okay, honey. Finite. My fault. If it matters that much to you, I'll end it now. I'll clean everything up. I promise it won't happen again, all right? Just calm down. It's all my fault. I was wrong. Why is it that after a man cheats, he still manages to stay calm? Acting like the woman is the one overreacting? Couldn't even bear having him next to me. When he leaned in slightly to kiss me, the scent hit me an unfamiliar perfume. Strong, overpowering, and not mine. I bolted to the bathroom, vomiting until my head spun. The world felt like it was tilting. Jason followed me in, anxiously patting my back. What's wrong? Did you eat something bad? Is your stomach acting up again? I weakly pushed his hand away. Don't touch me, I said. You reek of another woman's perfume. He froze, then quickly stepped back. Hey. Okay, I'll go take a shower right now. I lay down in bed afterward, drained and empty. Once he had washed himself clean of her scent, at least Jason came back and laid down beside me. I turned away, but his hand found my stomach. Gently resting on it like he used to whenever I had pain, it almost felt like we had slipped back into the past. It's like none of this had ever happened. Hasn't your stomach gotten better? He asked softly from behind me. Why is it acting up again? Maybe we should go to the hospital tomorrow. I was silent for a moment before finally whispering, No, it's not necessary. I know my stomach. Of course I did. I wasn't sick because of something I ate. I wasn't even sick at all. I was pregnant 2 months. The pregnancy report and ultrasound were inside the small gift box on the bedside table. It was supposed to be my 5th anniversary present to him. But now, there was no reason to give it anymore. Jason, lying peacefully beside me, thought he had calmed me down. He fell asleep, unaware. But I lay wide awake, eyes wide open in the dark, tears streaming silently into my hair. My chest felt hollow, my soul wrecked beyond repair. In the quiet, he turned toward me in his sleep and placed a hand on my waist. Baby, he murmured. My heart twitched, my throat tightening. My eyes stung. But then he mumbled again. Jessica. My tears began to fall uncontrollably, like a dam had broken inside me. I remembered something from childhood, how my mother would gently stroke my head and say, Selena, when you're hurt, cry it out. But after you're done, you have to smile again, okay? So in my heart, I whispered to her, Mom, I'll cry just this once. After this, I'll start over. In the middle of the night, Jason's phone rang. He picked it up immediately, slipping out of bed. He moved to the bathroom, closing the door behind him. I couldn't hear everything, but through the silence, a few words floated through the gap. Don't cry. I'll be right back. He got dressed quickly and quietly slipped out the door. I knew it was Hertha, young girl, calling him. Even in the silence of the night, I could hear her delicate voice echoing in my mind. The next morning, I made myself a pot of millet porridge. I needed to warm my body and gather strength. I had a battle to face today, and I had to face it. Alone, later that morning, I arrived at the hospital as planned. I'd made the appointment the night before. Today was the day of the procedure. The head doctor had been treating me for years, ever since I first tried to have a child. She looked at the ultrasound in silence, then asked seriously, "Are you really sure you want to do this? It wasn't easy for you to conceive? Maybe you should talk it over with your husband first?" I forced a stiff smile. "There's no need to discuss it. When it comes to this child, I'll decide on my own." The doctor sighed, then called the nurse to take me for prep. The operating table was cold. My teeth chattered as I lay down. "One last time?" the doctor asked. "This is your final chance. Are you absolutely sure?" Tears spilled down my cheeks as I closed my eyes and nodded. "I'm sure. It was just a simple procedure on the surface, but what I lost was a tiny life, a heartbeat I had longed for, a child I had prayed for. It came into my life, but at the wrong time." I got off the table by myself, biting my lip, cold sweat pouring down my back. I sat quietly on a bench in the hallway to rest. A nurse handed me a cup of hot water. Her voice was gentle, concerned. "Do you want me to call someone to pick you up? You don't look well?" I shook my head. No, I didn't need anyone. I no longer had anyone. I wrapped my coat tightly around me and was just about to leave the obstetrics and gynecology department when a couple approached from the opposite direction. The woman leaned into the man, pouting softly. "I was in so much pain last night, I was terrified. All this suffering. Who am I doing it for if not for you?" Jason gently stroked her back. "All right, my dear, you've had it tough. Once my son is born, I'll give him a spanking to make it up to." "You," Jessica pouted playfully. "Try spanking my son, I dare you." They laughed together as they walked until they saw me standing there, blocking their path. Jason quickly let go of her hand. "Selena, what are you doing here?" I stood there, pale and speechless. My lips didn't move. Jason rushed to explain. "Jessica wasn't feeling well. She's just a young girl and she doesn't have any family here. I was only bringing her to the hospital, that's all." "Nothing else?" Jessica scoffed. "Selena, you're so petty. Following your husband around like this? Ugh, I can't stand women like you. Doesn't love you anymore. So what's the point of clinging to him every day? Jessica?" Jason snapped. She rubbed her stomach, offended. "You're yelling at me? Go ahead, keep yelling. I'll take your son and leave you." I glanced at her belly. So, that was her confidence. But none of it mattered anymore. It had nothing to do with me. I didn't say a word. I turned and walked. Away, Jason grabbed my arm. "Selena, don't act like this. You're just staying silent now. I already told Yui was only helping her. Why are you following me and giving me that superior attitude? I hate when you act like this." His grip tightened. His anger rose. And as he pulled me, I lost my balance and fell hard to the floor. Everything went black. The last thing I heard before passing out was a nurse's voice shouting, "What's wrong with you? This patient just had an abortion, doctor." "We have a patient down." Chaos erupted around me. And then everything faded away. When I woke up, Jason was sitting by my bedside, holding my hand tightly. "Honey," he whispered. My chest tightened. I turned my head away. I didn't want to see him. His eyes were red. "You were carrying our child. Why didn't you tell me? Why did you make that decision on your own? I'm the father. I had a right to know. A right to decide with you. You're so selfish, Selena." I turned to face him, my eyes filled with pain and disgust. "Have the baby?" I said coldly. "In a broken family? What would I tell that child that his father cheated? That he has another woman and another sibling? Is that the life you wanted to give him?" Jason fell silent. I took a deep breath. My voice didn't tremble this time. "Jason, let's get a divorce. The child is gone, and there's nothing left between us worth dividing. Your little lover is pregnant, isn't she? Perfect. You've always loved children. Divorce me, marry her, and you'll have the dream life, a young wife and a child to complete the picture." Jason shook his head, gripping my hand tightly, his eyes searching mine. "Selena, you know you're the one I truly love. Everything else, it was a mistake, a fling. I'm not divorcing you." I pulled my hand away. "Jason, let's end this with some dignity. I don't want things to get messy. You don't want a divorce because you're worried about the company and the stock price. I want a divorce because You make me sick. I'll have a lawyer draft the papers. We built the company together, so we'll split the assets evenly. You just need to sign. Jason's voice grew hoarse. Selena, can't you be a little softer with me? We've loved each other for so many years. Don't sentence me to death for one mistake. I'm sorry. Just give me another chance. I won't agree to a divorce. We're meant to be together. I closed my eyes, refusing to respond. Was it really just one mistake, the kind all men make? That's what they always say. After I was discharged from the hospital, Jason brought me home. I ignored him. But he took days off from work, stayed by my side, cooked for me, made soups, treating me with the same tenderness he once did, as if nothing had ever gone wrong. As I quietly sipped my soup, I looked at him. You don't need to stay here. Go back to work. Shouldn't you check on your girlfriend? She's carrying your child, after all. Jason gave me a pitiful look. I told you, I'm ending things with her from now on. Everything will be fine. I pulled my hand from his. There's no need. Let's part peacefully. His expression darkened. Selena, stop being so stubborn. Already told you I'm not agreeing to a divorce. Pretended like he'd had a change of heart, staying home every day, acting like the perfect husband. One night, I woke up and noticed he wasn't in bed. I got up and found him on the balcony, smoking and talking on the phone. Just hang in there a few more days. She's asking to split the assets now, so I need to keep her calm. Once everything's transferred, she won't get a single cent. Then all the money will be yours. And our son's, sweetheart. I froze, my heart shattered completely. So this was love? When someone stops loving you, their cruelty multiplies. Their calculations become more ruthless than you ever imagined. I quietly returned to bed, closed my eyes, and pretended nothing had happened. The next morning, contacted my lawyer and told him everything, including Jason's plan to move the assets behind my back. He advised me to gather as much evidence as I could. The bigger the scandal, the more leverage I'd have. The stronger my case, the less he'd be able to take from me. I gave him all the photos and videos Jessica had sent. He smiled. This is a gift wrapped in a bow. Later, I sat on the garden swing. Jason came over with a shawl and gently wrapped it around my shoulders. It's been a while since I sat here like this, I said softly, just soaking in the sun. Surprised. By my warmth, Jason sat beside me and wrapped his arm around me. If you want, I can stay with you like this every day. I rested my head on his shoulder. Let's have some afternoon tea here. The weather's so nice, I don't want to go back inside. Jason smiled, playfully pinching my nose. All right, go prepare some snacks. I leaned my head back and let the sunlight wash over my face. Then I opened my social media and posted, everything is back to how it used to be. I added a few photos, me leaning on Jason's shoulder, him feeding me cake, us sitting on the swing. It all looked so peaceful, like nothing had ever changed. The comments rolled in, full of laughter and envy. People praised our love. They had no idea. That night, while I pretended to sleep, Jason slipped out to the balcony again. His voice was low and sweet as he spoke into the phone. Baby, I'm just pretending. You know I don't love her. I'm only doing this to keep her happy for now. Don't be mad. Next time. I won't even look at her. I'll focus only on you, okay? I didn't touch her. She's so boring. How could I possibly want her? Don't worry. I turned over in bed and went back to sleep, expressionless the next morning. I smiled and said to Jason, I'm feeling much better now. You should head back to work. And he did. I urged him gently. You can't let the company fall apart. This is the busiest season for business. I'll just go shopping with my girlfriends. Staying at home with you all day is honestly kind of boring. Jason hugged me softly. All right, do what you say. He went back to work. But I didn't. Go out with friends. Instead, I got a call from Jessica, asking to meet. She arrived in a designer maternity dress, carrying a luxury handbag worth hundreds of thousands, and sat across from me with an arrogant one hand on her belly, issuing her challenge. Selena, what's the point of dragging this out? Jason doesn't love you anymore. Don't you get it? I calmly sipped my tea, barely paying her any attention. It doesn't matter, I said evenly. I'm still his wife. I enjoy everything he has. I give her a cold glance. You, on the other hand, should be careful. Everything you're spending it comes from Jason, which means technically it's mine. So you'd better behave around your sugar daddy. 'Cause if he gets upset, that little pumpkin carriage you're riding will turn back into a pumpkin and you'll be Cinderella. Again, her face flushed bright red with anger. You're such a pathetic woman. You know your husband doesn't love you, yet you still cling to him. How shameless. I covered my mouth dramatically, gasping. Oh, my do mistresses insult people now? How is it that me not getting a divorce makes me shameless? You're the one who came between a married couple. Didn't your parents ever teach you not to take what isn't yours? Otherwise it's stealing? I leaned forward slightly, my voice sharper now. You an immoral, shameless mistress. How dare you stand in front of me and shout? I lowered my voice with a cold finality. And one more thing, watch your tone. As long as I don't get a divorce, the child in your belly is nothing more than a bastard. A love child. Got it, you tramp? With that, I threw a cup of iced lemon tea in her face. Her scream drew the attention of everyone nearby. I stood up, glancing at her soaked dress. You're spending so much of my husband's money? Don't forget to pay for this afternoon tea. The surrounding crowd began whispering. Wow, first time I've seen a mistress so arrogant. I can't stand these home-wrecking women. No shame at all, and she dares to negotiate with the wife? Disgraceful. If I were her parents, I'd strangle her. Didn't you hear she's pregnant, trying to force the wife out? It's absolutely shameless. Back in the day, people like her would have been thrown into a pig cage. Evening, Jason came home furious. The moment he saw me, he stormed over. What did you say to Jessica today? I looked up at him, noticing the sweat on his forehead. I smiled. Why so anxious? Didn't you say you were going to break up with her? He was at a loss for words. I lowered my gaze and continued. I didn't go looking for her. She came. To me, Jason, if I'm not provoking her, you'd better make sure she doesn't provoke me. Jason sighed, then slumped onto the couch, looking exhausted. Selena, she's pregnant. This isn't something I can just end overnight. You have to give me time. I thought we came to an understanding. Haven't you already forgiven me? Before he could finish, Jessica called. She was crying hysterically, screaming over the phone. Apparently her parents had found out about the affair and were demanding she break things off with Jason. She sobbed uncontrollably. Are you trying to kill me and our baby? Jason hung up and turned to me, frowning. Now Jessica's parents know. Are you happy? Our argument at the cafe had been recorded and posted online. Jessica was now being torn apart as the most arrogant mistress in public view. Married women, especially, were unforgiving, and the video quickly went viral. Her parents, humiliated and ashamed wherever they went, finally learned that their daughter had become the other woman. Furious, they threatened to drag her back home. There aren't many concerned citizens in this world. So I made. Sure, someone recorded that video and uploaded it. Now Jason had only two options. Watch Jessica leave with his child. Or divorce me, marry her, and keep the child. And he had to decide before her parents arrived. I heard Jessica was threatening to jump off a building. She cried hysterically, making a scene. Jason gave in. All right. Sign the divorce papers right away. Just come down. Don't hurt the baby. The divorce agreement had long been prepared. Jason stared at it silently for a long time before finally saying, our company's assets aren't worth this much. I turned and pulled out a stack of documents of Izet's. He had secretly transferred. I tossed them onto the coffee table. Jason, I didn't expect you to be this ruthless. You cheated on me. On top of that, you wanted me to walk away with nothing. Did you really think that just because I stayed home for a few years, I turned into some naive fool you could bully? Thankfully, even though I didn't go to the company often, many of the old employees still respected me and hoped I'd return. When I reached out for help, they quietly gave me the documents I needed. With their support, it was easy for my lawyer and me to find solid proof of the asset transfers. I've changed my mind, I told Jason coldly. You cheated. You're the one at fault. I'm not asking for a 50-50 split anymore. I want 70-30. Jason's face turned red with fury. You're dreaming. I calmly pulled out printed photos of him and Jessica together, then played a video on my phone. And let's not forget the baby in Jessica's belly, I added. Think carefully before you open your mouth again, Jason. If this goes to court, I won't just file for divorce. You could be charged with bigamy. His jaw clenched, eyes bloodshot. Selena, do we really have to take it this far? I picked up the pen and signed my name with a steady hand, then tossed the papers at him. When you decided to cheat, didn't you think about the consequences? Then I looked him in the eye and delivered the final blow. Do you really want your child to be born without a father? Just like you were? Did it? Jason had been raised by his mother alone, never knowing his father. In that small town of ours, people had whispered behind his back, calling him a bastard. I knew he'd never let his child grow up with that same label. Finally, Jason signed the divorce papers. A month later, we finalized everything at the registry office. Jessica was waiting outside, young, beautiful, dressed in an expensive maternity outfit. Soon as she saw, she linked arms with Jason, beaming. Mrs. Jason, no wait, Miss Selena. Would you like a ride? She asked smugly. I gave her a faint smile. No thanks. I get carsick. Makes me nauseous. As I turned to leave, I glanced back and asked her, Aren't you going in to get married? Or are you worried Jason might fall for another young, beautiful, energetic girl? And then what? No place left for you? After all, there are plenty of young women who can have children. You've got a lot of competition. Jessica's face fell. Got into my car and left, smiling later. I heard Jessica's parents were so humiliated in their hometown, they couldn't even show their faces. They weren't too thrilled with Jason either. He had to swear over and over that the divorce was real and that he'd marry Jessica right away, but Jason didn't have time for a grand wedding. I was busy selling off all my shares in the company, he called me, yelling into the phone. Selena, what the hell are you doing? I answered sweetly. I'm selling my shares. If you're interested, you can bid for them. Highest offer wins. What? To get in line? To keep control of the company, Jason had no choice but to buy every share I released. But after the divorce, he didn't have enough cash left. So, to make up the difference, he had to sell the villa where Jessica had been living. Jessica, heavily pregnant, cried and screamed, You marry me and then sell the house. What does that mean? Are you ashamed of me? Jason tried to explain it was an emergency, but Jessica wouldn't hear it. All she cared about was appearances. She had already bragged to her friends about becoming Mrs. Jason. And now what? Mrs. Jason, who rents a flat? She went as far as hiding the property deed, pushing Jason to his limit. For him, business always came first, but Jessica didn't understand that. She believed love should come first. She thought her emotions were more important than money. They fought fiercely, and when Jason finally found the deed, Jessica lunged at him to take it back. She tripped over the rug, crashing to the floor, her stomach slamming down hard. Oh, help. It hurt so much. Blood poured from between her legs. Jason froze for a moment, then scrambled to rush her to the hospital. She was already 5 or 6 months along, but the fall was too much. Jessica lost the baby. She hemorrhaged badly, and though doctors managed to save her, the damage was irreversible. They told her she would never be able to have children again. Jessica was shattered, sobbing uncontrollably, her world collapsing around her. After she was discharged, she moved into a small apartment Jason still owned. He stayed by her side, holding her, trying to comfort her. I've bought back all the shares, he whispered. We'll get married right away. You'll be my wife. And by the end of the year, once the company's annual report is out, I'll buy you the most beautiful villa you've ever seen. Jessica got what she wanted. She married Jason. For days, she posted about it on social media, basking in the spotlight. Meanwhile, I was relaxing on a beach vacation. I had sold off my shares, let go of the old house, and bought a new, spacious apartment, simple, warm, and cozy. With my suitcase in hand, I began traveling the world, chasing the life I had once dreamed of. I even rekindled my college passion for writing travel blogs. And to my surprise, people loved them. Before long, I had become a modestly popular travel influencer, living fully, living fully, living happily. As for Jason, ... Not long after marrying Jessica, his old ways returned. Started seeing someone new, a young woman fresh out of college. She was vibrant, beautiful, energetic, just like Jessica used to be. Soon, the girl became pregnant. But she turned out to be even more ruthless than Jessica had ever been. She recorded intimate videos of herself and Jason ... Release them online if you didn't marry her. If I go down, she said coldly, you go down with me? By the time Jessica found out, the girl was already 7 months pregnant. She didn't waste a second. She went straight to Jessica. Jason told me you can't have kids anymore, but you still cling to your title as his wife, the girl sneered. You're pathetic. He doesn't even love you, and you still won't let go. How shameless. Jessica froze, and in that moment, she remembered. She had once said those exact same words to me. She let out a laugh, sharp, bitter, hollow. What goes around comes around. It's true, heaven never overlooks a debt. But Jessica stayed composed. She looked the girl dead in the eye and said calmly, coldly, I miscarried because of Jason. Now I can never have a child of my own. So no, I'm not leaving. No matter what, I won't give up my place. If you want him, and he's willing to support you, then go ahead and take what's left. But Mrs. Jason, there's only one and, that's me. When Jessica returned home, she looked at Jason and gave a small, thoughtful smile. You know, she said quietly, Selena once told me, if Jason can cheat on me, saying I'm young, beautiful, and full of energy, then one day he'll cheat on you too. I didn't believe her. But now I see she was right. You really are incapable of change. She paused, then added more softly, but Jason, it's too late for me now. I can't have children anymore. I've already lost so much. Can't lose you too. So let's live like this. Have as many children as you want with other women. But I will never agree to a divorce. When the young mistress went into labor, Jason got the call in the middle of the night. He panicked, hands shaking, mind blank he couldn't even drive. Jessica calmly picked up the car keys. I'll drive you, she said, almost too softly. She was eerily quiet as she drove them to the girl's apartment, then straight to the hospital. The girl clung to Jason, moaning in pain. Honey, it hurts so much. Kiss me, she whimpered. Jason leaned down and kissed her quickly. Just hang on. Almost there. Everything's going to be okay. Jessica nodded from the driver's seat. Don't worry. The pain will stop soon, she said evenly. The day I lost my baby, it hurt even more than this. By the time they realized something was wrong with Jessica, it was already too late. She gripped the steering wheel tightly, her knuckles white. Her eyes flicked to the rearview mirror, watching them in the back seat. She smiled.
Ow.
Since neither of us wants to leave him, why don't we stay together? Jason's voice cracked in fear. Jessica, what are you doing? She didn't flinch. You once said we'd die together, same day, same month, same year. Well, ... it's almost time. She looked out at the dark waves crashing against the rocks. Don't worry, she whispered. I've heard drowning doesn't hurt, especially for a mother and her unborn child. No, don't. Jason lunged for the wheel, but it was too late. She slammed her foot down on the gas. The car tore through the guardrail and crashed into the ocean below. When I saw the news, I was vacationing on Bali Island. I scrolled past the article like it was nothing more than a weather report. Indifferent, just another forgotten tragedy in yesterday's headlines. The next story would be more exciting, more dramatic, more interesting, because, in the end, no one really cares what happened yesterday.